2016 Attack on Titan game did a remarkable job of capturing the sensation of soaring through the air and avoiding the grasp of grotesque giants. The general movement felt true to the ideas presented in the source material, and that was enough to carry the entire game, despite repetitious levels and some poorly executed ideas like Titan transformation. With Attack on Titan 2, developer Omega Force builds upon the foundation of the first game, but most of the ideas presented feel underdeveloped, resulting in a stinging sense of disappointment for what could have been. Instead of controlling a named character from Attack on Titan, this time players create their own avatar who gets entangled with the struggles of the core cast. Initially, the prospect of a brand new character inserted into a familiar story is exciting, but the game does next to nothing with it. For the most part, the sequel tackles the exact same beats as the first game, following the first 2 seasons of the source material, but very little beyond that. Although other characters will occasionally comment on how useful you are, it's really hard to buy into when the experience is more akin to being a fly on the wall, witnessing a tale you may have potentially seen several times before. Your created characters sometimes feel so ancillary, you may wonder why you're there at all.
そういえばお前、ハンジさんに指名されたって聞いたぞ。訓練成績が高いやつは他にもいるのに。
In an attempt to add a more personal touch to the storytelling, the game allows you to build up relationships with other squad members between missions. These optional conversations often include moments when you can choose one of 3 dialogue options, raising your relationship status with a given character if you pick a correct choice. Then, upon fully leveling up, you may earn a skill such as increased strength or dexterity. The system is a fine idea in theory, offering a break from the onslaught of mission after mission and potentially providing insightful or humorous looks at characters. Occasionally, the game does just that, with small scenes that really illuminate what each character is about. But such moments are few and far between, with most feeling flat and generic with no entertainment value or information of any substance. The game also floods the player with people to talk to after missions, so it quickly becomes tiring. Perhaps it would all be worth it if the skills you obtain were any good, but most of the benefits are so minor that they're hardly noticeable. The actual fighting is still strong, however, and further enhanced by a few new additions. Grappling onto a nearby building and flinging yourself into the sky has a convincing sense of weight to it. It's the kind of game where the movement is so fast and easy to manipulate that simply getting from point A to B is enjoyable on its own. Maneuvering around a flailing titan at the right speed requires suitable precision and timing, since the giants are more aggressive than in the first game, trying much harder to knock you out of the sky or making it difficult to reach the proper angle for you to attack. Sneak attacks are a new addition that allow you to get the jump on titans who aren't aware of your position. After targeting a titan for a period of time, a prompt appears, and you'll blast forward for a devastating strike. If the attack is timed correctly, most titans will go down in a single blow. It's a powerful maneuver that not only feels viciously satisfying, but also cuts down on some of the tedium. Since there are so many titans to cleave through during missions, the option to speed up the process a little bit is a welcome one. If a player does catch a titan's attention, they'll become enraged and get slightly more annoying to deal with. Another new maneuver is a counter, executed after dodging at the right moment. The timing of the dodge can be difficult to nail, though, and you may find yourself forgetting it's even an option. Because the core fighting is solid, it's immensely disappointing that the level design isn't more ambitious. All the levels begin to bleed together due to how relentlessly similar they all are. In most missions, you'll attack specific targets, perhaps build a few defensive structures, and then the whole thing culminates in a battle against tougher titans, whose glowing green limbs must be targeted first to make their health bars vulnerable. It's fine at the beginning, but the structure becomes so commonplace that it starts draining the general joy of fighting. The lack of diversity makes it hard for individual moments to really stand out. Considering the 2016 game also suffered from repetitious levels, it's even more inexcusable here. In addition to its single-player offerings, Attack on Titan 2 features a surprising amount of online modes. It's possible to play either the story or survey missions cooperatively online, and interacting with other players makes missions a little more engaging than they would be on their own. Another nice touch is that you can request aid when upgrading gear. If another player is nice enough to help out, they'll get whatever you were trying to craft as well, so it's beneficial for everyone involved. There are also 2 competitive modes, Annihilation and Predator. Annihilation is a 4 vs 4 mode where players fight to grab as many points as possible by killing titans. It's in some ways more interesting than the standard missions due to the increased importance of positioning. You always want to be in a location where you can grab more points than your opponent, requiring constant awareness of the map and what others are doing. During a match, you can mess with others by utilizing specific items, not unlike Mario Kart. One item temporarily stuns an opponent, and another covers their screen, making it hard to see. However, during recent attempts to play online, it's been difficult to find other players to fill matches, so it's hard not to question the mode's longevity. Plus, there are only 2 maps currently available, so even if you do get a match, you may find yourself getting sick of the surroundings rather quickly. The second competitive mode, Predator, has you playing as a Titan whose goal is to cause as much devastation as possible. Rampaging around the city as a giant is both simple and highly cathartic as you earn points for things like crashing through buildings and eating civilians. Unfortunately, an inconsistent frame rate diminishes the joy of destruction. Perhaps it would be understandable if the troubling frame rate was limited to this one mode, but it's an issue we've experienced consistently throughout the story as well. Like Annihilation, Predator mode also only contains 2 maps. Although there's still some excitement to be found in the fundamentals of Attack on Titan 2, it's a game whose lack of meaningful strides forward is its own undoing. What is new sounds promising at first, but since it's so underutilized, the game ends up feeling like an extension of the first entry rather than a true sequel. If Omega Force does tackle the story of Eren Yeager yet again, hopefully they'll find more compelling reasons for players to revisit this gruesome world. Easy Allies reviews are made possible by generous viewers just like you. If you like what you see, check out patreon.com/easyallies to see our other videos. And consider becoming a patron to help us make more.